Hello there guys, and welcome to the first edition of PPL D2 Power Rankings with myself, the Flying Bird, and I'm joined by, you know what they say, ginger is the spice of life, and I have my good friend Redithan here with me today.
Hello, this is Redithan, and I felt like I had to do my intro there, but, hi. Welcome to PPL Power Rankings.
And so every Wednesday, I do believe, this will be going up. We are recording this 2 days or day after draft for your viewing pleasure, and I've got to say, it's definitely excited to see how much time and effort has gone into this season of PPL. In particular, I want to shout out Ryquin for doing all the amazing graphics that we'll be using in the streams.
You're amazing. I love you.
Have my children, Rye. If Mish doesn't want to have them, you can have mine.
Oh.
And as always, I don't know. I would rather have Rye have my children.
Rye would be a good dad. I would be okay with that.
I reckon he would be as well. I reckon Rye would be the type of person that, like, if his kid wants ice cream at 3 a.m. in the morning, like, he'd probably make ice cream.
He's getting that ice cream, yeah. No.
He's getting his kid ice cream. But enough about Rye, because he comes a lot later on in this podcast, for a change. But first and foremost, at number 12, we have agreed, me and my ginger friend, that the Portland Timbers, who are they coached by? RTK.
Yep.
Are number 12. And the main reason I had them so low was because I really felt as if they did have the Fairy Dragon Steel Core and also the Firewater Grass Core. However, I would not advise you merging the two together. I thought it had really good offensive pressure. It can definitely be ran as a very good hyper-offensive team. However, this is 12-man draft, or 10-man draft, coach's draft weird in PPL. It's a budget, but the defensive pressure was not, the defense set is not there.
It really isn't.
And this is really, and this is so crucial every week, that you should have a good balance of the two so that you can offensively hit your opponent's side. The merged core was Katana, Dragonite, and Finny. And when I first saw Finny and D-Knight here, I thought, ooh, this could be an interesting core. Finny, defog option, great option, we do that. Laxative in recovery, D-Knight, another interesting mon. It's probably taken one of the biggest hits in Gen 7 as in terms of viability, in my eyes, due to the Tapus running around. And then I saw Katana, and I thought, it was one of those drafts that he had 110 points, but I just felt he wasted them on a few things.
Sandslash?
Definitely some good... Yeah, Alolan Sandslash was definitely one of the more questionable picks. I did not like my spinner being 4 times weak to any type of attack.
Yeah.
And in particular, why not just Fortress? I also thought that Thundy Eye is definitely an amazing pick, and so is Nidoqueen as a hazard option. However, that Ice weakness is really going to hit him hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't want to take an ice attack. P2 is there for the defense. However, I don't think you can rely upon a one-man defensive core. No. Yes, Nidoqueen can be run defensively. However, I really don't think in this team composition that it would be defensive. What about Redithan? What do you think about this team?
Well, one thing that instantly stands out to me is that Nidoqueen is not only a Zmon, but the Zmon. What's it? Is there like a word for it that allows status, or is it
the Z? It's the Z move user that can use any Z move.
Yeah, I know.
So they were allowed 3 Z moves, and 1 Z move mon could use.
I don't know if there's like an actual word for it, but yeah, I don't agree with that at all, and that's just because Nidoqueen is. I've never seen Nidoqueen ever run anything that's not Life Orb, Black Sludge, or Sugar Berry. Like, it's usually one of those 3, and I feel like it works with those better. Whereas, if you put it on Thunderous Eye, you have 100% accurate Focus Blast, 100% accurate Hurricane. You have the option to fly. I feel like it would have been much better on a Thunderous. And that's just one thing. I agree with you on the all the other stuff for sure. It's just that was one thing I wanted to point out that you didn't point out about it. And I feel like it would change the team a lot more if that was distributed a bit differently. And also the fact with Thunderous Eye that it's 17 points, where I feel like you already have the Dragonite as an offensive flying type. I feel like maybe 17 points in another one is not necessarily the best investment. I don't know. That's something that I noticed. But
So the next up, I had the Live Wormpool FC, which is one of the biggest gaps we have.
oh yeah,
I'm not gonna spoil where it is up in my good friend Reddithan's spot. So we're going to discuss that one later on in the podcast when we get to that stage. However, I do believe my number 11 was the Accrington Stantler, and you had them at number 12, I do believe.
I had them at number 11. You had it at number 10.
Yes. So you take us away on this one first, man.
Okay. I don't think this team is necessarily bad. However, reasons I ranked it so low is that I don't know. I just don't really see it being too threatening. I think Excadrill is very good. I think Tyranitar is very good. Very good combo. They both hit very hard. But other than that, it's just more of like, you know, what's gonna come in and be like the big threat, I feel. Because once you get something on your team that kind of counters Excadrill, you know, or even like counter Sand in general, because Sand isn't even like a good matchup against every team. You got an Alakazam, you have a Conkeldurr, and you have a Roserade, and those are really like all your like big attackers, I feel. And this overall, I feel like it just really does lack. It doesn't lack power, but I feel like it definitely does lack a bit of offensive pressure for sure. I feel like if it had like some form of like setup sweeper or like another wall breaker, it might be really, really good. But I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of lacking a bit in that category.
Yeah. I think as well, like from my point of view, definitely the sand aspect is going to be the over-centralizing aspect for each team each week to prep for the Accrington Stantler. But at the same time, I think it's a real hindrance as well, because they do have that sand core, as we mentioned. They then draft for fighting checks. Also as well, there's not a ghost type on this team, which I thought was a very weird scenario, because in particular when they have no ghost type, there is no fighting immunity. Also, I really am interested by the Volbeat pick. I have seen it before, like, do work in the past. Baton Pass, I think Baton Pass is agility and tail blows. I really apologise if I get that wrong. It's been a while since I last saw a Volbeat. I'd like the Poliwrath pick. I think the Poliwrath and the Conkeldurr pick is actually very redundant.
Yes.
I think one or the other would have been fine. Also as well, just looking at it now, a bit of a flying and steel weakness in the team. Poliwrath, Roserade, Volbeat do not appreciate flying types. Still hit Tyranitar and Clef hard. So it has that weakness as well, and I'm noticing more and more weakness at the time I look at it. I really think that Conkeldurr is actually one of the... I think what this team does actually really well is actually doesn't rely upon setup.
Yes.
T-Tar, Choice Band, waxing. Excadrill, Mold Breaker, or SD, waxing. Clef, Carmine, Magic Guard, Carmine, Unaware, you name it, it can destroy things. Alakazam is way too frail, but at the same time, just a Magic Guard Life Orb combination is so strong that it's very, very hard to deny that. And that's where I see not so much straight up wall breaker potential, but I see a lot of late game sweepers.
Yeah, I get that.
And if they can win the chip game against their opponent, they can sort of win pretty easily.
Yeah, and that is what I was kind of getting at, is that she does have a lot of cleanup potential, but yeah, it's just it really comes down to whether or not you can wear stuff down enough to where something like Excadrill or Alakazam can come in and kind of clean up a bit. And another point about Volbeat is that it actually does not get agility.
No, what's the move I'm thinking of?
It gets Tailwind. That's, I believe.
Tailwind, yes.
But, and I guess that's good, but I don't know. I feel like it definitely could have been put into something like Poliwrath to make it, or like get a better water type there or something.
Or just drop Conk, and you could drop Volbeat, and you could potentially get 17 more points.
Yeah, I feel like there's stuff here. I feel like it could definitely be improved on. It's just, as it stands, I just don't see this team being too threatening or too difficult to build for. And so yeah, that's why I ranked it low. But
so next up, which was my number 9, your number 10, we both had the AS Rowlet. Now, this was definitely going to be one of the drafts that on paper looks a lot better than it actually is, because you have a few very good picks. Mew is an amazing Pokemon. In my opinion, it is the best mon in League format. When I first saw that Mew pick, I was in love, and then I saw Mega Beedrill, and I thought that was another really good pick. Infernape, although I cannot use it to save it for the life of me. I mucked up the saying as well. That's how bad I can use Infernape.
I love Infernape, personally, but
it's a good mon when used in the right hands. However, there's a few things I want to question, and this is just from my perspective. Zygarde 10% is a very, very good pick. Great speed stat on it. Mega B, Infernape, 3 mons over base 100. It does a lot of things in theory right. The Fairy Dragon Steel Core, Ferrothorn, Comfy, Zygarde. And then you also have the Firewater Grass. I think you have a Firewater Grass Core in Rotomosh, Infernape, Ferrothorn. Great spikes and Stealth options. A lot of very, very good things are going for this
and he's
team.
Using Comfy.
However, some people do have a dream. The Toxapex Predator will be proud. But at the same time, these are the flaws in it. It does have a spinner option in Kamala, which I don't really rate as a spinner. I still think Kamala is one of those mons. It has a nice niche, except people are still struggling to figure out how to use it. We may see Ash and Akai absolutely plow through teams with that the koala.
I mean, I believe in Eric,
but
we'll see.
Yeah, it's just we got to rate him on drafts, unfortunately. Volibee is another nice pick. It is a smaller Mandibuzz, it is tankier, however, at the same time, it does not have that leftovers recovery, cannot run Rocky Helmet, can't run a few things. Sometimes it's a nice pick for 2 points, a very, very nice budget pick. You will notice that with these pricing systems, there'll be some great budget picks going around. I think Volibee is one of those good ones. I just see that the Stealth Rock weakness on this team, where something is so prevalent as a team that's weak to rocks, you do not want to be running your Mew as a user, in my eyes.
And that's kind of my problem with it, is that Mew, I feel, is a very I do really like Mew. I mean, I've had bad history with Mew, but I've seen what it can do. I've seen when in the right hands what it's capable of, and if you're kind of forced to make it a defogger, then you're kind of losing so much potential with it, which it does really well. However, with this team, I feel like Mew was much better and more of either like an offensive role or some sort of like bulky Calm Mind, or whatever you decide to use with it. I feel like it's much better in that kind of role, with considering what else he has in the team. And then when your only other hazard removers are Kamala and Volibee, you're kind of forcing Mew into that role, I feel, in a lot of situations, and that hurts the team a lot.
So next up, number 8, I have the Pine Cob Ramblers FC,
Pineco.
but Ethan has them. Pineco, it seems like calling it Cob to me, but we'll have that a bit later in the draft as another one of our largest references. This week we have decided that where Ethan ranks them, we will then discuss them. But the next one we have is the Birmingham Spreadsheet.
No, we're at 9.
Yeah, number 7.
No, we're at 9.
How are we at 9?
Yeah, we went Portland Timbers, Accrington Stantler, and then AS Rowlet. And then
so we're going to talk about the West Gen United then? Yeah,
it's West Gen. Yes.
Take them away. You have them at number 9, I have them at number 4.
Yeah, we disagreed a lot on this one. And I don't know, it's hard because I actually don't. There actually really aren't many teams that I necessarily dislike. So if I rank you low, it's not because I don't like your team. It's more because I'm just kind of trying to think about using that team myself and how it would really, work out. And overall with this team, I just feel like there's a lot of pressure being put on Salamence, because you got, I don't know, like there's some, I feel like Heatran, Salamence, and Heatran, Salamence, Aromatisse is not a bad Dragon Steel Fairy Core. Having 2 4 times weaknesses is a bit of a problem, but I don't know, overall I feel like they check each other's weaknesses pretty well. I feel like they fit well. Starmie is a pretty nice spinner to have with Salamence. And then you got Weavile, which can come in and clean up a bit if Mence or something else is unable to. But I don't know. Overall, what?
Yeah. Sorry,
But overall, just I don't know. I'm kind of bad at doing this post draft, but because it's kind of hard for me to judge a team without really seeing it in action. But just on paper, I'm just not really a fan of how this team I feel is going to work out. I just feel it has a lot of like a lot of mediocre picks, and then you kind of just got Salamence, Heatran, Starmie, and Weavile just kind of carrying most of the weight with Aromatisse there to take hits.
So you raised a lot of interesting points, but from my perspective, as I said, this is my perspective. I really like the Fairy Dragon Circle, Aromatisse, Heatran, Salamence, because it's also backed up by an amazing Firewater Grass Core. Not Aromatisse, Heatran, Gourgeist, Seismitoad. As well, like Seismitoad's another thing, but I'm trying to think of the one I'm missing at the moment. I'll come to you in a second. Gourgeist, Starmie, what's this fire type? Heatran. That's the one. But I was going to say, Seismitoad as well could be that part of that Firewater Grass Core, which really helps it out. Eevee, Z-moves. Yeah, Eevee Z-move as well can be ran as Rain Dance or Z Electric Terrain. +1 speed, or let's speed things up. Also, +1 speed plus Seismitoad. That Electrify Z-move user that's a lovely pick. Yes. Especially when it's going to use anything. Salamence we're seeing at the moment is one of the most improved ones of this generation. It's definitely.
However, I would like to point out, I'm kind of like the biggest like Zmon user critic here, but I really disagree with not giving Heatran the ability to run Z moves. Even if you don't run it, the threat of Balloon Doom is really, really big, and that forces like a lot of it forces a bit of extra prep and possibly some your opponent to play a bit differently around it, but I will say that.
Well, you do raise an interesting point, being the Balloon Doom aspect. From my perspective, Heatran without the Z Crystal can still do its job.
Yes, of course,
and it can run. It can run just Power Herb. Starmie's a very interesting Z-move pick. I personally probably wouldn't have done it. But, it's an interesting pick. Also, the speed tiering is so lovely on this team. Weavile at base, I think it's 130 Weavile, isn't it? Salamence, 125 Weavile, 100 Salamence, 110, 115 Starmie because it's fast. Also, Unburden Hitmonlee, Eevee +1 speed. There's so much nice little speed tiering, and there's a lot of good defensive. Really interested to see how they bring Stanton up. I think it's another great matchup pick. I'm guessing.
This is actually something I just noticed that I don't know if this has ever happened before on a power rankings, but the points actually don't add up correctly on this because Hitmonlee is actually 8 points.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's actually 8 points. So
you should tell them because they're living a lie.
I literally just noticed this. If you guys watching this, I'll probably make a.
Probably cut it down, but I think regardless, we'll take a intermission.
Revelations going on here. I don't know. If we want to keep this in, I guess we can, but
yeah.
Anyway, let's continue. Let's ignore that for now. Stantler's irrelevant.
Well, that's it. No, I think Stantler's an interesting pick. I'm gonna quickly look up again on Showdown what it does because I know that it's another weird one of those mons.
It gets Intimidate and Sap Super,
which is definitely a good thing. But I'm also thinking like what other little things, like there must be a little trick or something that you'd want to.
It's got some interesting.
Frisk is.
Yeah, it's got Frisk. It's got some interesting support moves. It's.
Yeah, and also like Disable, Calm Light, Extra Sentry. Yeah. Also, it doesn't have a bad attack set or special attack set. Decent mediocre defenses, but I think that's enough on the time on the West Gen United. Next up is the other biggest. This is the biggest discrepancy. I'm gonna go second on these. I'm at Ethan taking first, but the new Crossell United.
Yeah. So, like I said, same thing with West Chan United. I really do it's not that I don't like this team. It's just I feel like there are some flaws with it that I'm not really a fan of. I think Skarmory, Kieran Black, I think that is a fantastic first 2 picks. I don't necessarily agree with the order. I feel like Kieran Black should have gone first, Skarmory gone second, but it doesn't really matter because he got them anyway. But as the draft goes on, though, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the later picks. I think Florges is nice. I think it's a bulky fairy that has wish options. I mean, there's really nothing to complain about there. You got Delmise, which is a decent spinner, but other than that, it doesn't really have any reliable recovery, and it gets worn down easily. And you got Crocodile, and I really do like the Crocodile option. I feel like as a Zmon user, I feel like it could do some stuff. I know it does get, I believe it does get Snatch, which gives it +2 speed, I'm pretty sure, with the Z Crystal, so that's pretty nice. But then after that, I just feel like there's a lot of, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of Mons that are just kind of there to fill a certain role. And, I mean, that's okay, but I feel like, Excelgor, you pretty much use it for spikes, and that's it. You got Boldor, which sets up Stealth Rocks once and, dies, which is a meme pick, but it's okay. And you got Electros, which is, it's kind of a meh pivot. And then Ambipom is one that I really don't understand. It's a fast mon, and it can hit decently hard with I don't know, with a life orb if you want to, but I don't know. I just don't really. I feel like if some of those points were taken and put into maybe 2 of those mons were taken and put into a 15 or 14 point mon, I feel like this draft would be a lot better and get some more threats in there. But I feel like overall, you just got kind of Kieran Black as your main threat, and then possibly Crocodile, and then just a bunch of kind of niche mons. But that's my main problem with it.
Alright, well, as you said, a few niche mons. However, I'm very, very different in my opinion. The main reason I have the new Crossing Unite #1 is the Fairy Dragon Circle.
Yeah.
As you said, you don't know how Florges is going to pair with it. I'm telling you now, Kieran Black plus Hazard Stack from Skarmory, Selgor, Tentacruel is going to be absolutely amazing. This team is built around a round 2 pick, which I do not know why, but it is absolutely godlike. Kieran Black round 2. Delmise as well. Delmise has actually played a really pivotal role. It can trap fairies. Traps those fairies, Kieran Black can start spamming D-Claw. There's a little bit of a fairy weakness at that time, but at the same time, there's some good ways to counter that. Tentacruel, yeah. Delphox, 2 pretty good fairies, also a Skarmory as well.
Well.
So that sort of defensive synergy is there. Crocodile, Skarmory, I think 3 rockers. I'm not really going to count Boldor because, as you said, it could be a meme pick, but I think Boldor may actually have a few niches as, there might be a time or an instance where you want to run, you need to get up your rocks and play hyper offensive, run it as your lead, and use that sturdy ability to your advantage. Ambipom, as you said, you think it's a bit of, to take those points, invest in them stronger. A Selgor, as much as you want to say it's just a spikes option, it can be a life orb option also as well. It also gives you that massive speed stat advantage. You're playing with a base 145, I believe so. This is game 1. It's a massive jump.
However,
you then have to run a scope.
However, it does kind of bring up the option that his team is a bit slow. Kieran Black, like you said, Kieran Black with spikes is really good. However, that speed I feel could be a bit of an option, or a bit of a problem. I feel possibly if he had some form of speed pass, or possibly another mon that was that's above base 110 that could a real wall breaker, not wall breaker, real cleaner. It could be really good, but I don't know.
Like a Jolteon,
yeah.
But this is where it's going to be a matter of opinion. Delphox is, I think 108 or 110. It's around that speed set.
107, I think. But
107.
Same thing.
Which is pretty much one little speed set too slow.
104 actually. Yeah.
104. So it doesn't outspeed the Terrakion, Virizion, Cobalion core. However, at the same time, does outspeed those base 100s. I believe Ampipom was 110, was it?
Ampipom
was it 100?
Ambipom is 110, I think.
So
Ambipom is fast. It's for that value. I will agree. Oh, it's 115. Yeah, for that value, it is a pretty fast mon, but it's also kind of weak. But I don't know. We'll see how it works.
But at the same time, Fake Out and a few other options there. The Technician boost. I don't think King's Rock is legal.
I don't believe it
that's
is.
Alright, could have got Chinchino. Nah, fortunately, so much.
Let's not go there.
But those, those well-rounded options, in particular defense, I just see a team built around a Kieran Black.
Yep.
And as you said, Kieran Black is a little bit slow at base 95. However, once you start hitting over 110, everything's too frail for it. Once you start hitting over 120, besides Weavile and maybe a Solgor, and I think Sneeze is 115. They're 3 mons that can potentially hit Kieran Black hard enough. Kabalion, those things mons. However, at the same time, when you have an Solgor at base 145 speed, and you then have potential Scarf Crook, potential Scarf Delphox, that speed tier is fixed instantly, and that just gives New Cross United so much advantage.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. Like I said, post-draft it's kind of difficult to see because you don't really get to see how the teams work. So I guess we'll definitely have a better idea of how the teams really are once season's underway. And of course, I have to bring up, why is Kieran Black not a Zmon?
Alright, as you said, why is it not a Zmon? As you said, you do believe the threat of a Zmon Kieran Black.
Yes.
I think, my personal opinion, it is a good Z-move user. However, much of these mons that you, besides the Lando T, which can actually use Fly 3 or 4 times, with Kieran Black, it cannot use Free Shock multiple times. It is It's just
that's true.
it can use it all.
Weird activity.
The main advantage you get by running a Z Crystal on Kieran Black is Iron Head, because you then stop fairies. Why does he need to stop fairies when he has a Delmize there that can stop the fairies for Orin?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, the thing is that because you mentioned Scarf Crook, and I personally feel like Crocodile is better more often than not with an item, and if you make it the Zmon with the potential to run status, you get Hail, you get as well, which is really, really nice. I feel like that's going to be much more useful in terms of what I was saying. I feel like that'll be much more often than not like a good option to run than perhaps like a Z Snatch Crocodile will be.
I don't really know if that Crocodile, I really feel like it's one of those things, hey Crook, you take that Z Stone. Also, I think you can run Z Toxic to get a +1 defense boost.
Yeah.
There's other, as you said, I think it's a bit of a waste. Yeah. A bit of a waste. I'm not going to deny that. But as I said, I still don't, I didn't really put that much emphasis on the Z moves as yourself did, because I don't think that 3 Z moves, I think there's some teams that get a massive boost by having one Monbay Z move. However, I feel like as with the New Crossville United, there's just things that Crocodile can do. For example, I'm just looking at a few of its utility moves. Toxic, I think as well, I can't really see any other moves per se, but also Sludge Bomb, for example. It's got such a wide move pool. Draconium Z, Grass Z.
It's not necessarily that it shouldn't be one. It's just I feel like Kyurem should definitely be one. Options. And Electros I feel doesn't really need it too much. I don't know. Like you said, it's not the end of the world. I feel like it's not that much of a game changer, but I would definitely like this team a lot more if Kyurem did have that option. But it's just something I feel like I have to bring up. But
yeah. So next up, your number 6 and my number 5, Mr. Roy Bay himself, aka Raikkonen, head coach of the Nidoqueen Park Rangers.
We skipped one again. Yeah, no, we got 7. which we both had. We both had Alex.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so Brilliant Spreadsheet. I swear, I'm so bad.
It's okay.
Pay more attention. So the Brilliant Spreadsheet I had at number 7. Look, in theory, it should have some very good points to it. Garchomp, Sizzle, Tapu Koko, Fairy Dragon, Steel Corp, very, very good. Tapu Koko is proving to be one of the better Tapus in League format. I constantly sleep on it, in my opinion, is not one of the best, but I get proven wrong all the time, and I'm happy to admit that. The Standoff fans with Wish Alola Mola. I think that the Mega Sizzle pick, I absolutely love Mega Sizzle to death. I think it's one of the best
I love
Megas in League format. Silvally Z-move for that parting shot can be so clutch. Sandforce Lando I with Z-move is another scary threat. Does not have the same attack stat as a Lando T, but at the same time, in the sand and other things that can help boost its stats, it will absolutely destroy some house. The one thing that I had them at, I think they're a good benchmark team at number 6, but the biggest issue I had with this team is their flying resist from memory. The flying resist, looking at it again. Like Dartrix, Hariyama were both weak to flying. I just found that there was it came in pairs. Lando I, Garchomp, both weak to ice. Higalith, Tapu Koko, both weak to ground. I just found that their weaknesses came in pairs. And Alola Mola, as much as amazing one as it is, and we've seen it before carry teams to championships being that wish pass support role, it just doesn't support this team well enough.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and really, I will say the Hariyama pick I really do like, because looking at his team, he does have three 4 times ice weaknesses. I mean, if you want to count Dartrix, but he does have a big ice problem. Mega Scissor, of course, but it's got a 4 times weakness to fire. Hariyama resists both of those, so I feel like Hariyama's a really, really nice pick with that thick fat to kind of take those hits that because there's gonna be mons that are gonna run like Ice Beam and HP Fire, or like Flamethrower and HP Ice. That does so much to like his entire team, and I feel like Hariyama is really nice there to kind of put a stop to that. However, like you said, he does have a lot of shared weaknesses that could potentially be an issue.
So, next up, make sure I get this one right this time, we have Raibei, the coach number 5 of the Nidoqueen Park Rangers. I think Raikkonen was on a mission with this draft to make sure that he got all the Stealth Rockers possible. He stopped at nothing to get every Stealth Rocker possible. The thing that made this team, for me, not being number 1 was too many Rockers. If he swapped one of those Rocker picks for a Spiker or a T-Spiker, number 1. Yeah. I really like his Fairy Dragon, still cool, another great one. Celesteela, Togekiss, Mega Garchomp, also the Wish support and Licky Licky. Probably could have got Licky Licky like around 10, but it's so hard to know because I don't know what the precedent is like in the PPL. But, Azelf, another good rocker. Alola Marowak is probably one of the best momentum blockers in the game, and also one of the best Bolt Beam resists in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Also a great spin blocker. Blastoise is a spin option. I think his defog option is Togekiss as well. I don't know about the Liepard pick, to be honest. That was the one thing that really stood out to me. It's a bit of interesting.
I am a I wouldn't say I'm like a Liepard expert, but I've used it a few times. I really do like it. I'm not too sure exactly what it's gonna do with this team. However, what it does is that it's a very good sweep stopper. Encore, T-Wave. It's got a lot of options that really, because you notice with this team is that he does have a bit of he doesn't have much setup fodder. However, if a mon sets up, I feel like this team kind of does does kind of have a bit of an issue. He's got Piloswine with Roar. He's got Blastoise that can also roar, but I don't know. Mega Garchomp, Togekiss, and Celesteela, I feel can. Where's I going with this? I don't even know. But
the Liepard's there to stop the setup because none of his mons really have enough pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
To destroy bulky attackers.
Yeah, if there's like a strong Dragon Dance user, this team could struggle with that a lot. But That's where I was
Because I've
going.
noticed the time. We've nearly been going for an hour. But next up, you had the Parasect Germain at your number 5. They were my number 3. Why'd you have them at number 5?
Parasect Germain. Hold on. I had them at number 5 because, well, really anything on this upper half of the rankings, I like all of them. Like, I feel like they're all really good teams, of course. But I really liked what I liked about his team is that oh god, I forget now. But sorry, it's getting late. I know. I just like the synergy of this team really. I like Necrozma. I like Necrozma and Terrakion together. I feel like they kind of support each other well. Of course, Terrakion comes in and hits a bunch of physical walls or a bunch of special walls really hard. Necrozma comes in and hits the special walls or the physical walls really hard. I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. Here, you take over for this one. Real quick.
Okay, so the main reason I had them at number 3, Vaporeon, Salazzle, they were missing a few aspects to the grass. I don't think he had a grass one, so he missed that fight with a grass core. Morway, Dragonair, Fairy Dragon, Steel Core, Mandibuzz, Zapdos, great hazard removal options, Necrozma, Terrakion, Mamoswine, Morway, all these rocker options. Good form of priority, but also at the same time, I really liked a few of his options with his team. For example, having the Mandibuzz, Zapdos are probably 2 of the best defoggers in the games. Yes, they're weak to rocks, at the same time they're very, very good. Zapdos being 17 is probably a reasonable price for it because it is one of the best mons in the format as an electric flying type, as articulated by one of my good friends. Necrozma, Terrakion, like they're 2 mons that they're probably not going to be rockers, but at the same time they can set up. Necrozma is showing why it is one of the best. So many setup options, probably one of the best setup sweepers in the game as to date. Morwell, another rocker, another strong Pokemon, Sheer Force, Life Orb. It just has so many of those gears working in his team, which I really, really like. Next up, you had the Live Wurmplex FC at number 4, whereas I had them at number 11.
Okay.
Do you want to explain why?
All right. I feel like the reasons that we disagreed on them are. I feel like the reason I liked his team is the reason that Bird did not like it, and it's kind of funny how it works out because I really like the Firewater Grass core of Bulu, Manaphy, Rotom, Heat, whereas Bird, you don't like it if I recall correctly.
No, I did like the core. It was more so his common weaknesses.
Oh yeah.
That was the biggest thing to me. His Rock Resist, his Registeel, and Donphan. 2 mons that do not have the best form of recovery. That's what really got to me. Secondly, his Ice weakness. I think I counted 4 mons. Taunty, Togetic, Donphan, Goodra, Tapu Bulu. Sorry, I counted 5. Weak to rocks. His rock removers are Donphan and Togetic. 2 more sort of passive defoggers and spinners. Like for example, Zapdos is a defogger, but at the same time it can be a very offensive defogger. So it can defog and then hit some 50, 30 damage. And in contrast to those 2 mons.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I remember now. Sorry, it's getting like really late. I'm totally just losing my mind right now. But the thing is that when you see Bulu, I see a lot of people draft Bulu and then they draft, they don't draft around grassy terrain. I feel Richie actually drafted. Even if we disagree about the draft, I feel like this team works very well with grassy terrain. Of course, you got the Registeel that has a ground weakness. Its main weakness is pretty much ground. However, the grassy terrain kind of gets rid of that, as well as giving it a bit more recovery with grassy terrain. Same with Donphan. You just got all that extra recovery, and then of course on the other side, your opponent's grass moves will be hitting more. But he drafts Goodra, which Goodra is probably the best grass switch-in, I would say. One of the best anyway, because of course it's immune, and then it can pretty much take any special hit, like any sort of like hidden power they could possibly run for coverage. And I don't know, I just feel like this team has a lot of switch-ins to like you said, there is like a lot of there is a bit common weaknesses, but I feel like they balanced out each other pretty nicely. And then you also got the potential of Manaphy with Z-Ran Dance, and then you got Tornadus T, which of course loves the rain. And I know, just overall, same with Goodra. I feel like you could run like kind of like a semi-rain team. So like, yeah. And of course, Rotom Heat, even, you can run Thunder or something. You can run like Thunder or something. I just really like how this team synergizes. I feel like it's drafted in a way that all the Mons kind of work with each other well. Like you said, there is some noticeable flaws in it, such as Radiosteel and Donphan not getting recovery. Same with Goodra. So we'll see how it works out, I guess. I don't know. Just on paper, I really like how this team works out. But
I think the other thing is I see it just being too situational. If Manaphy is going to set up the rain, it has to get his own rain dance off. If his electric resist or electric immunity is Donphan, how does that electric immunity punish the electric mon? How does if he's like Choice Band Tapu Bulu is one of the hardest hitters in the game. No, not questioning that. Not questioning how well the team benefits Grass Strength, but let's say he's brought to a matchup where he cannot bring Tapu Bulu. What happens to his team then? His team does not have reliable enough recovery.
Yeah.
Donphan doesn't get Donphan and Registeel both have to rely upon, I think, rest. It's just not something you want to do. Good Wish Pass option and Togetic, except at the same time, that's setup fodder. Unlike Kiss, where it's a bit more offensive, it becomes setup fodder. And also because it's like, let's try to wrap this up a little bit quicker. We're sorry about this, guys. This is one of the weird times we're going to record. Your number 3 being Kyle, coach, K to the 2, coach of the Harlem Globetrotters. I am at number 6. Now, number 6 seems like a little bit of a low ranking for our good friend Kyle. I know everyone in the PPL loves him to death, but my biggest issue I had with his team, it's hard to sort of explain, but I thought that although there was a few it had the ticks, Fairy Dragon Steel Core, Firewater Grass Core, Spikes, and those sort of things, those sort of advantages it had on other teams. T-Spikes, there's a few things like that. I just sort of thought that there was a few little things that when I just looked at it, I was just like, is that really the way you want to play? So first and foremost, great speed stats, you cannot deny that. However, things like Klefki Sarina both being weak to fire, Victini and Nidoking both being weak to ground, and Sunfist, that's 3 weak to ground. Kane was weak to fighting, Kane, Hydreigon both weak to fighting. The weaknesses just seem to come in pairs. Aerodactyl is a nice Z-move one, it's fast, hits hard. Victini is another good Z-move option. I just sort of thought that although it looks like a very, very good team on paper, I'm not trying to deny that, I just think that there's a few things that I question. Kangaskhan is a Wish Pass I don't really like. Banette as well, I don't know what's really there for besides spin blocking. Mantine is good, but is it worth 10 points?
Yeah.
We have seen one of our PPL D1 coaches that use it very well in another league. However, I just feel like this is one of the things, it's just a war of attrition team. If you can just maintain a slightest bit of momentum, the wall breakers, Victini, Kelp, Hydreigon are 2 very, very good wall breakers, and at the same time, they do hit each opposing side's spectrum so well. I like Victini, it's a great versatile one in league format, however, Pursuit Trapped. Hydreigon as well doesn't really deal with Ferris too well. Yes, it does get Flash Cannon, yes, it does get Iron Tail, however, are you man enough to make that read? And if you do make that read, and it doesn't pay off for you, how far behind is that going to put you? That's something that always should be considered in every draft league game. How far will that, what's the risk versus reward? Mantine and Aerodactyl both weak to rocks. I feel as though his hazard removes are the main reason I had him at 6. Aerodactyl is a defaulter, I'm more seeing as a suicide lead. And also Sarina is a good spinner, but at the same time just not like T-Spikes. Nidoking is a T-Spike switch in, but at the same time you don't switch Nidoking into hits. You switch Nidoking in to revenge, 9 out of 10, or you lead with it. So you are on that back foot to begin with. Okay, so for number 2, Ethan has the Pinecob Ramblers. I had them at my number 8 pick. My reason for this was they do tick a lot of boxes, however, their ground resistance is Quilladin and a Milk Tank, which I didn't really like. I think Mega Blastoise is one of the most overrated rapid spinners in the game. A lot of people tell me, oh, it's Mega Blastoise, it does a good job of spinning away things. However, I think it's a waste of a Mega pick. It's 16 points, whereas Blastoise is 8. You're paying double the price for a Mega. is that Megastone worth 8 points? Archeops, I really am not a fan of. The main reason I'm not a fan of is because the reason why I'm not a fan of Archeops is its defeater's ability. It gives up halfway through the season, just like probably how I will feel halfway through the season. Like it's just one of those things. Galvantula is a good sticky web setter. However, what really takes abuse of that? Also, as well, there is no spin blocker, which I find really interesting. There's no way to punish default, no way to punish spin. That's something you've got to really consider. Like, let's say, for example, I checked on a Thunder Yara, a Defiant user, I'd be like, interesting pick. It allows him to punish defaulters. It's one of those things. Like, let's set up hazard stack. Oh wait, what do I do if they run hazard removal? I know that in a few leagues now, hazard removal is becoming more and more not taboo, but people don't run it as often as they want to. I don't know why, they just do. It's a trend. It's like eating more junk food. It's just a trend. It's like going through diva periods. It's just a trend. But there's things like that I just really question. I love Zygar 50%. I like. It's a very good fairy dragon.
That's why I ranked it so high, actually. I guess I've seen Jirachi Sylveon Zygarde 50%. I've seen that. It is very, very good. I will agree though that it does kind of trail off a bit. I really do like the Miltank pick with this team. I like Drapion. I like the option of Toxic Spikes with his team. However, yeah, you do bring up the really good point of not having a really good ground resist because, of course, Quilladin. You don't really want to have to bring Quilladin every week. Mega Blastoise. It is. It does hit ground types, of course, but it's not a resist. And like you talked about the spinner, I don't feel it has to be a spinner. I think it's a very good mon on its own, especially with the Wish support. It can be a pretty nice defensive wall, but it might have been better off to take the base Blastoise and pick a different Mega. I will agree with you there. However, I don't know, I ranked it so high just because I feel like the Jirachi Sylveon Zygarde core just has so much potential, and I feel like with the right changes, this could actually be like the best team, like by a lot. I just see that core having so much potential, and that's why I ranked it high. We'll see how it works in practice and everything. Like, it's hard to, like I said, it's hard to judge teams before you actually see how they work. But I really do like that core, and I'm excited to see how Jim uses it. But like you said, there is some flaws with this team, so maybe I ranked it a bit too high. Maybe it's just because I love you, Jim. But we'll have to see. But
your number one, my number two, we both had the Chicago BOS.
Yeah.
The main reason I had them at number one was I felt as if they did some of the best things in this division relative to their opponents. Now, the main thing that I really liked is they had some great calls. Mega Charizard X, Melodic Decidueye. As I said about one of the earlier teams that had Delmise as a trapping for Kieran Black being New Cross Reno, I saw Decidueye trapping Mons for Charizard X. But at the same time, its advantage over Delmise is that it can trap and baton pass.
Oh, it's so miles better than Delmise, in my opinion.
The Torterra and Repic I thought was a bit of a redundancy. However, for 3 points, you may be able to pick it up something in a bit later. Sneasel, Gardevoir, two very, very good mons. Also, Omastar is a great hazard option. Hitmontop, a good spinner. I think when I counted everything for the support-wise of Charizard X, and these are the notes I do have. Yes, I'm actually organised for once. Firewater Grass Course, I love Charizard X. I think it's one of the, I think it is probably the best Mega in League form, especially when not everyone else can get a Mega as well. It makes it 10 times better. Omastar, hazard option. Sneasel, a great pursuit trapper. Jolteon, another good mon over base 100. Defog and Braviary, Decidueye. Hitmontop as a spinner, so it has three very good hazard options, hazard removal options. The main thing that I sort of see with this team to an extent is struggling with fairies. However, Charizard X just loves fairies. Fire Punch every day, one of the most diverse Megas. What about your thoughts on the team, Ethan?
I feel like Mega Charizard X, normally, when I grade teams, you've seen kind of like how I talk about them. I really like momentum. I like every team having like, I really pay attention to like the cores and make sure they're all kind of similar how you do it, but I don't know. But when it comes to Mega Charizard X, I kind of view it as more of like a unique mon, just because it's just such a threat that I feel like if that's like your main offensive mon and everything else is on your team to support that, I feel like that's how you're supposed to draft around it, and I feel like Carson did that very well. It's like you said, you got the Decidueye, which can defog. It's a nice pivot. Tom Pass, it switches into a lot of the stuff that Walsh Charizard, such as like bulky waters and stuff like that. I think they work well together. Melodic, of course. Melodic takes Melodic takes a lot of those hits, completes the Fire, Water, Grass core, and it takes a lot of hits that Decidueye and Charizard X don't really appreciate, such as ice attacks and everything. Same with Scissor. I just feel like he has a lot of pivots and a lot of type resistances that are really key to kind of making sure Charizard can get in safely every time. And then of course he has a lot of not a lot, but he has solid hazard removal in Scissor, Decidueye, and Hitmontop. So that shouldn't be an issue most times. So I just feel like he drafted around Mega Charizard X very well, and that's why I put him at 1.